Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're unpacking one of the most popular questions people have when learning about personality disorders. How do you tell apart a narcissist from a sociopath or a psychopath? Well, it can be hard to differentiate because they all share some pretty dark characteristics. Narcs, sociopaths, and psychopaths are all cruel, manipulative, calculating, charming. They lack empathy, remorse, guilt, and shame, and have an inflated sense of self-importance, entitlement. They are power-driven, impulsive, violent, aggressive, antisocial, contemptuous. They disregard rules and morals, and are often seething under the surface with explosive rage and sadism. But despite the common characteristics, each of these personality types has its own unique, defining traits. So stick with me as we explore what makes narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths different, and how to recognize each. Let's start with narcissists. The signs of narcissism include overly relying on external forms of validation, like praise, recognition, status, or career achievements, to feel good about themselves. While they can appear overly confident, many experts believe that narcissism arises from a deep sense of shame and insecurity. However, these insecurities are masked by many aggressive defense mechanisms that make the narcissist a difficult and potentially dangerous personality. Imagine someone who has an inflated, fragile ego, a balloon that looks big and shiny, but is ready to pop at the smallest criticism. Narcissists live for validation and admiration. They're constantly in search of what's known as supply, which can be anything that boosts their ego or status. One interesting thing about narcissists is that, despite being manipulative, they're actually pretty easy to manipulate themselves because of their need for validation. A defining feature of narcissists is their fragility. They're easily hurt by criticism, constantly crave attention, and have a conscience, though it's often buried under a mountain of shame and insecurity. Narcissists are like a collapsed star, dense, self-focused, and inwardly turbulent. Now let's move on to sociopaths, who are a bit like narcissists, but on a hotter, more volatile level. Think of sociopaths as hot-headed psychopaths. While they're charming and manipulative, they're also highly impulsive and moody, often dropping their mask and exposing their true selves in moments of rage or frustration. Sociopaths refer to those diagnosed with a severe form of antisocial personality disorder. Frequent signs of a sociopath include a lack of empathy, morals, and care or concern for the feelings and needs of other people. These traits make them more likely to harm or take advantage of other people, especially when there is a potential benefit involved for them. Their weak conscience makes it easier for them to justify their antisocial behaviors and dodge some of the normal feelings of guilt and remorse most people would experience afterward. Much like narcissists, sociopaths lack empathy and guilt, but they're also more likely to break social rules and laws without much thought. They're not interested in long-term planning like psychopaths. Instead, they tend to go for short-term gains, and often show aggression when things don't go their way. Sociopaths can form some shallow connections, and might even show a trace of conscience for a few people they care about, but it's rare. Their impulsive nature makes them easier to spot than a psychopath, because they're not great at hiding their true colors for long. They're more easily riled than psychopaths and often lash out when upset. What makes them slightly less dangerous than psychopaths is the fact that many sociopaths still possess weak empathy and conscience, which makes them slightly less antisocial. Sociopaths also tend to rely on less violent means to get what they want, and are more likely to lie, extort, or manipulate people than to physically attack them. However, unlike narcissists, they don't need constant admiration or validation from others. Finally, let's talk about psychopaths, the coldest and the most calculating of the three. Psychopaths are more likely to have stunted emotions, a lack of empathy, and no conscience, which also makes them more prone to violent, criminal, and illegal acts. Psychopaths are often cold, callous, calculating, predatory, and ruthless, but they can sometimes still win people over, with their superficial charm or suave demeanor. While both psychopaths and sociopaths have traits and symptoms of antisocial personality disorder, psychopaths have the most rare and severe form of the disorder, making them potentially very dangerous. It's estimated that only 1 to 3% of people with antisocial personality disorder are psychopaths, and about 30% are sociopaths. Unlike sociopaths, psychopaths are often completely lacking in empathy and moral conscience, and some are even sadistic and enjoy causing pain and suffering. Many psychopaths don't experience a normal range of human emotions, which makes it even more difficult for them to relate and connect with others. While sociopaths are impulsive, psychopaths are patient, calm, and meticulously strategic. Psychopaths don't need validation from others. Instead, they're driven by power, control, and stimulation. They're perfectly fine working alone and are not in constant search for new supply. Because of this, a psychopath is much harder to spot, because they will happily downplay themselves to blend into hiding, in order to catch their prey and get away with stuff. And since they are more attracted to power and stimulation, you're more likely to find psychopaths in high-stress, high-stakes roles, like CEOs, surgeons, or lawyers, careers where they can wield power and navigate challenges without emotional attachment, while filling their free time with stimulating hobbies, which they enjoy doing alone. Since psychopaths experience dulled emotions, and have virtually no emotional needs, they are cold, calm, collected, logical thinkers. There is no inner emotional turmoil, just muted buttons, that they can switch on and off, hence why they don't get triggered like narcs do. Instead, they operate with icy calm, making them some of the coldest, most dangerous types of manipulators. And they are almost impossible to manipulate, because they are the master of all manipulators, and they are the coldest of all of these types. They are very patient, and slow-burning with their anger and revenge, prepared to wait a long time to manipulate targets, and carry out an intricate scheme. They're always 2 steps ahead, and because they lack a conscience entirely, they're not weighed down by guilt or shame. What's especially chilling about psychopaths is their ability to charm and blend in. They can appear friendly, attentive, and even likable, but it's usually just a mask. They use charm to gain people's trust, only to exploit them later for personal gain. So if you were to put this dark triad on a scale, from, that is, most vulnerable/emotional, to least emotional/most dangerous, it would go narcissist, sociopath, then psychopath. Psychopaths have zero conscience. Sociopaths have a sliver of a conscience for a few people that they somewhat care about, and narcissists have a fraction more of a conscience, except for malignant narcissists, who are as evil as the psychopaths and sociopaths. Narcissists are practically sociopaths, except with a fragile, inflated ego that relies heavily on constant external validation, and their conscience exists in the form of a repressed, repelled inner battle against feelings of shame, guilt, and remorse. Apparently, another main difference between narcissism and antisocial personalities is that narcissists are motivated by a desire for social recognition and acceptance, and psychopaths and sociopaths are not. This means that narcissists are more likely to care about the feelings and opinions of other people, which acts as a safeguard against more violent, criminal, or deviant behaviors. While narcissists still sometimes engage in these behaviors, they make more of an effort to appear normal and make positive impressions on other people. The most difficult and cruel tendencies of a narcissist, are often only apparent to those who are closest to them, or to those who have offended or upset them. When a narcissistic injury occurs, narcissists often use immature defense mechanisms, like projection, blame, smear campaigns, and passive aggression. Narcissistic personality traits are more common than the antisocial traits displayed by sociopaths and psychopaths, and are often less dangerous, too. Part of the reason narcissistic people are less dangerous is that they're usually driven by prosocial desires like wanting to be liked, accepted, and respected by others. Psychopaths and sociopaths, on the other hand, don't have as many prosocial desires, and instead use antisocial behaviors like violence, deceit, and exploitation to get what they want, at the expense of other people. So, if this is a person in your life that has you wondering if they are a narcissist, or a sociopath or a psychopath, then your answer is simple. It doesn't matter which one. You don't need to know the difference between them unless you're looking for answers to an upcoming psychology test. What matters is how you are going to escape this individual and keep them from invading your life and your sanity. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths are destructive at a level you don't want to have to deal with. If you suspect something like this, then don't worry about getting an official diagnosis or proof of what your gut is already telling you, which is that something is wrong, and you don't need or want to be there. Listen to it, heed the warning, and find a way to break free. With all three of these disorders, the person will try to convince you that you are paranoid, or that you have no proof, that they are innocent, or it's all some big misunderstanding. Regardless of the words, bear in mind, it's all a lie. We have been taught to be fair, give chances, allow explanations, forgive, etc. While these qualities serve you well as a person, they are exactly what these disordered creatures use against you, in order to victimize you. Don't listen to them, listen to your gut instinct. It has no motivation other than to protect you, and keep you safe. When it says, "Get out now," listen to it. It knows instinctively what's true, where logic in these cases can cloud your senses. So I hope this helps. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or experiences. Let's continue spreading the awareness together. Stay safe, stay informed, and take care of yourselves.